I know I don't tell you I love you enough. Something I never do. I'll take the opportunity to do it now. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. Probably have never heard that from me, but I don't know. It's just difficult for me to say in person, so maybe this will help out a bit. But I know you guys have always been there. You've always supported me in everything I've had to do, even when I've been a little jerk.
This Memorial Day holiday, thousands of lucky sailors are getting a chance to dock in Manhattan and enjoy some downtime during Fleet Week.
The USO Video Story Project. Our men and women in uniform tell their stories, building a legacy to share with family. Tales of life in the military, what they hoped for the future, and what they missed most from home.
The mountains and the lakes.
I just miss the beach.
Your personal space.
My mom's pizza, homemade pizza.
They have a living record. They have an actual message that they can go over, they can remember, their families can remember.
Just saying hello, Grandpa. You said give you a call, right? Well, this is a little bit better, I think.
Mom, Dad, I love you, you know that.
I want to thank you for being supportive and for loving me.
The common theme that we all share is that we all get emotional when we think about the family back home that we miss and don't get to see as often as we'd like.
They saw sides that they didn't expect to see, and that they got all sorts of questions that just really made them very emotional. I mean, the amount of tears that we saw in was thus far 4 or 5 days has been tremendous.
Thank you for bringing me up right. I will always appreciate it and carry it on with my children.
I just want to thank you, Mom and Dad, for letting me be in the service and actually supporting me through this, because I'm actually getting to experience a great thing while we're here in New York. Actually being able to videotape this is one of the greatest things, because this is just my thank you to you.
We were told all the time about the difficulty that they had in keeping in touch. Stories of $1,000 cell phone bills, trying to speak to their families at home. Stories about communications being blacked out on the ships, or the internet not being available to them. The Story Project, I think, is a very unique way for them to communicate.
This is a little USB keychain drive, and it contains a message that I recorded for my mother.
Mom, I love you very much. You mean the world to me. And I really can't say anything other than I thank God for every moment I've been able to spend with you.
It's something that she'll be able to look at and watch whenever she wants, no matter how far away I am.
I think it's really valuable to get a tangible look at, you know, what exactly you're experiencing at a certain point, and I think this is a really great way to be for some people that won't see their families for a long time, to send a kind of a snapshot of what they're doing and, you know, how they're feeling on their cruise and their deployment. So I think it's a really neat opportunity that the USO is providing.
Hi, Mom, Matt, everybody. I'm in New York for Fleet Week right now.
Hello to my wife, Melanie. I really appreciate you being married to me for 5 years and supporting me.
Destiny, well, I hope you're not walking by the time I get home. I don't want to miss that.
I miss my children and my dog. My husband, of course. Can't forget my husband.
These individuals will be able to send messages to their families. And I think when we look at the situation throughout the world today, to be able to personally communicate with the family by way of video, this is something very special.
We are military at war, and you know, it's a very serious thing.
I think the most important part about this project was when one of the officers from one of the ships stood there with me when we were at the party on Friday, and he said, "You see these men and women in front of you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Some of them may not come back," which is a terrible thing to think, but it makes this and this project 100 times more important.
Hereby proclaim May 27, 2004 as the first day of the USO Video Story Project in Manhattan, honoring our living tree and the USO of Metropolitan New York. Thank you, and all of the best to you. Thank you so much.
We're so honored. Some of these people have been off
either in combat zones or in very dangerous parts of the world, and I thought this could be my bit to help out, you know, to do something. But what I've taken away from it is doing that bit, but also if I can do it for the families, for the moms and dads, and that they can have that moment of their child forever, looking at them and saying, I love you.
And I want to tell everyone in the family that I love y'all so much, and I appreciate all the support you've given me.
I miss them and I love them, and if they could be here, if I could be there, you know, I'd do it, you know, in a heartbeat. But there's some things you got to sacrifice, and I guess that's one of them.
This little single project caused a lot of people to perhaps think a little bit differently about the folks in the military and about supporting the troops.
It's broken the stereotype that I've had of a typical sailor. I mean, when somebody mentioned the sailor to me, I thought of this muscle-bound guy with tattoos all over every available inch of skin on his or her body, and maybe not so intelligent, the typical stereotype, and I found that not to be the case.
When they look at a person in uniform from the United States, they don't see a sailor or a Marine, soldier or airman. They see a citizen of the United States, and they're going to make entire judgments on our country based on how we act, perform our duties, and interact with the people of that country. And we're all ambassadors. That's our job first and foremost.
I think that they had a sense that this is capturing a moment of their own personal history for themselves when they are older and for their families in the here and now.
I think they're basically putting something for antiquity for when they're 80 years old, and they can pull this out and look at them as a 20-year-old and see how their feelings were as a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old.
I think the most fulfilling thing I've ever done is ride in the back of a 7-ton truck along a dusty, sandy Iraqi road and tossing meals ready to eat and candy to little kids and seeing the smiles on their faces. That meant the world to me.
Families are brought together by the sharing of stories, that it keeps them together. We believe that a family's stories, histories, and traditions are like photographs. After a while they begin to fade, and unless we save them, they're gone.
We're all hoping, everyone who's been involved in this project, that this becomes not only an annual event, but an event that takes place more than once a year. And would love to see the same people come back and have a collection of these.
I would like to see this project, not just as you say for Fleet Week, but for all branches, and we could do it at other times in other places. Absolutely.
And this is a first, but because of what I know it will mean to so many people and their families and individuals, I know this will not be the last, but just the beginning. Thank you. Thank you.
The USO supporting our troops. Stories told today, like the ones on this video, are gifts from the present to your children and their children.
I would like to tell my family that I appreciate them for everything, all the sacrifices that they've ever made for me, and I plan on doing that with my own children. And getting emotional. And that I love my husband and my kids. I love you, Robbie, Gabriel, and Michael.